Hi guys, happy Monday. So now that rhetoric is over, we're gonna start on Faustian Legends. Now this is your work for Tuesday. It is not due to the end of the quarter next week, okay? So you got lots of time to work on it. Yay, lucky you. Okay, so a Faustian legend is a legend that has to do with making a deal with the devil. So it's kind of fun. I have provided for you 9 different links. So you can go watch 9 different examples of Faustian legends. You're watching them or you're listening to them. Some are songs, some are TV shows, some are movie trailers, all the things that you need. And then I want you guys to read a story called The Devil and Tom Walker. And it's a really interesting Faustian legend. Here's the thing. It's a tough thing to read. I know this. The vocab's hard. It's going to challenge you. What else do we have to do right now besides be challenged? Honestly. Take a day or two, read it, enjoy it. Once you're done, then come back to this video and we can talk about it together, okay? So if you have not read the story yet, it may not be wise to watch the video first if you want to not give away any of the endings. If it will help you with your understanding to listen to me first and then read, please do. And I ask that you read because, you know, I can't be there to enforce it for you. Okay, so let's go over the story, assuming that you read it or you want my information first to kind of help you get an idea of where you're going. So we have this man. His name is Tom Walker and his wife, and they're both considered miserly. Okay, we have that as a vocab word. Once upon a time, we had vocab words. And they hoard their money big time hoard their money. And they're bad people. They're mean. She beats him up all the time. They get in huge arguments. They scream and yell at each other. And they would literally rather like go without than give the other one anything. So like if she wants a new couch for her birthday, he hates her so much that he would literally rather have a disgusting old couch that he cannot, like that's like falling apart and stuffing's coming out and there's springs everywhere, than let her have something she wants. And she's the same way about him. They will literally hide food from each other because they're trying to like hoard it for themselves. They're terrible people. They also live near a swamp where it was rumored that Kid the Pirate, which is a pirate, has hidden his treasure, okay? And Tom and his wife are so miserly, they only pay for their very basic needs. So like their horse is starving. You can see his ribs because they don't pay to give him a lot of food. They let him eat the grass and they say it to be enough, but they don't take care of the grass. There's almost no grass. There's not a lot of fires in their chimney, nothing like that, because they're not what I would call good people or nice people. Okay. Literally, if people walk by their house, they could hear their arguments, and then they are so glad that they are not married because they hear them screaming and yelling, and they're like, wow, I would never want that. Even if it means they have to remain celibate forever, they would rather be celibate forever. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Celibate forever than deal with these crazy people. Like them be married to someone like that, because Tom Walker and his wife hate each other and they suck, okay? That's kind of an important detail. That's why I spent so long talking about it. So Tom decides to go home from work one day and takes a shortcut through the swamp. It's super dark and creepy and like gross because swamps are kind of smelly. And he finds somewhere to sit, and because gets tired on his shortcut home. It's a long walk. He's kind of an older dude. He needs a break. And while he's sitting there, he realizes there's a skull at his feet. And a man appears before him, and they call him a dark man. They don't mean that his skin is dark. He's not black. He's not African-American. He's not from a different country. But it looks like he's been standing next to a fire so long that he has soot on his face. Like he looks like he's covered in soot. Not necessarily that's his skin color per se. You can't even tell what his skin color is, but you know that he is thick with the grime of like fires. And he has really dark hair, and he yells at Tom. He's like, why are you doing on my land? And Tom's like, this isn't your land. This is my swamp. Chill out. And the man's like, this is my land. And basically they look at the trees, and on the trees are names of different people in the community. And some of the trees are growing really well. Some of them look beautiful on the outside, but they're rotten on the inside. And a lot of them are cut down. And the ones that have been cut down, just had the stump left. And he sees the man takes an axe and cuts down one of the trees that says Deacon Peabody on it, right? And when Tom goes home, he gets word that Deacon Peabody has died. So this man, unsurprisingly, is the devil. And when Tom figures that out, he's like, okay, instead of like freaking out or running away or anything normal, he says he wants to make a deal with him. And the devil offers him a deal. And he says, you know what, I gotta go home and talk to my wife about this first. Because like I can't like offer a deal on my house, my soul, whatever, without at least asking my wife. So he goes home to ask his wife. And because it's kind of a big deal. You know, he hates her, he wants to have her opinion. So he goes home to ask his wife about it. And she says, yes, you should totally do it. But because he hates her so much, he goes, fine, then I won't. Nice and stubborn, okay? So because his wife wants him to do something, he's like, no, now I'm not doing it. And he refuses. And she gets really angry because she thinks they can get anything they want. She thinks she's mean enough to overcome the devil. So she goes up by herself. And honestly, she's gone forever. She's never, ever seen again. And at one point, Tom gets worried because she took a lot of the most valuable property with him. Not worried about his wife, let's be clear, worried about the valuable property that she took. So he follows her. Goes after her. It takes him a few days to be willing to go after her, but he goes after her. And when he gets to the location where he saw the devil, he sees his wife's apron, like, and it's full. It's like hanging from a tree. And he's like, yes, I will get my stuff. And I don't see my wife anywhere. This is the perfect setup. I don't have to deal with her ever again, and I can get my stuff back. So when he opens up her apron, it is actually full of a heart and a liver. And he says, well, I lost my stuff, but hey, my wife's dead, so that's pretty cool. He's thrilled that his wife is dead. And now that she's gone and there's no one to ask about making the deal with the devil, he's willing to make the deal with the devil. And as he's calling for the devil, he looks around and realizes that his wife got in a fight with the devil, pulled out some of his hair, punched him, like there's like footprints everywhere. And he's like, wow, my wife is so mean that she literally fought the devil. What a terrible person. Okay. And he agrees, he gets a hold of the devil, and he agrees that in exchange for his soul, Tom Walker is going to become a usurer, is the word. And that means like a moneylender who charges really ridiculous rates on purpose. And he target people who can't pay them back, and they're really, really not understanding. It's kind of awful. So he settles in, and he gets really rich really fast. He's a friend to the needy, but as soon as those people can't pay, he promises them great rates. He promises them all this stuff, and he gives them terrible rates. And when they get to, when they gets to the people have a bad time, they're struggling, and they come to him, and they're like, Tom, I need a few more days. He's like, no. And they're like, but seriously, dude, I can't afford this. And he's like, sucks to suck. Maybe you should pay it now. And he throws them in jail, or repossesses everything they own if they can't pay on time. So he becomes very wealthy very fast because he's giving out these loans when people feel like they can do it, or he pretends to be like, oh, I'll help you out. You're needy right now. Take a loan from me. But he calls in his loans, and he's not fair about it. And he also has zero graciousness. He acts like he's your friend and gets you to trust him, and then screws you over in the end. So that's kind of how he approaches his money lending trends. Okay, not good. So he becomes really, really rich. But he still super sucks as a human being, and he has this huge, beautiful home, but he doesn't fill it with anything because he wants it to look really good from the outside, but he doesn't want to spend any of his money. Imagine a gigantic mansion with like 15 rooms that has one bed in it, one chair, and one table, and that's it, because he doesn't want to spend any money on the inside. He wants to look rich from the outside because he's all about appearances, which is not ideal. Okay? And as he starts to get older, he gets a little nervous about the deal he's made with the devil. So he starts going to church every single Sunday. And he gets more and more nervous. So he starts yelling, screaming at church, like, yes, praise Jesus. He's like the loudest person in the church, right? And everyone else is like, wow, what a pious man he is. He's trying so hard. He's loud. He's there every single Sunday. He carries a Bible with him at all times, thinking he can outsmart the devil. Well, one day, he is sitting at his desk with a big old Bible on it, like a huge, expensive, fancy Bible that only someone who's a really good Christian would buy, right? That's dumb. To be clear, that's dumb. But Tom Walker is concerned about appearances only, not exactly what's on the inside. Just like his house is nice on the outside, but inside is empty, so is Tom Walker in his soul, okay? So he has this friend of his who has had a really, really hard time. And he is struggling because he's going to foreclose on his home. And he comes to Tom, and he's like, Tom, I need help. Please help me. I need some. I can't make my payments, and they're going to lose my home. My kids are going to starve. And Tom's like, I need the money. Got to pay me. And he's like, you don't need the money. You've already made money out of me. And Tom Walker says, the devil take me if I have made a farthing. meaning if I have not made a penny, if I've even made a penny off of you, the devil can take me now. Well, the devil hears this and appears at the door and says, Tom, you're come for. And Tom's like, oh, let me just grab my Bible. Except for his little Bible he left in his jacket, and his big Bible he had put his law books on top of. So he doesn't even have them on him. And then the devil swoops him up and runs away with him. And that was the end of Tom Walker. And that night, a great fire burned down his house, and all of his belongings, his gold and silver, turned into wood, chips, and shavings, and every single thing that he could possibly have was gone. Because that's what happens if you make a deal with the devil. So that's our run through of Devil and Tom Walker. Fill out your Google form telling me if you basically understand Faustian Legends based on all the examples you got and the Devil and Tom Walker and the lovely little run through I just gave you. I also want you to fill out the Faustian check sheet for each of your examples. And then you're going to write your own Faustian legend. It's creative writing time. So I want you to, a page and a half long, make sure you mention who's making the deal. Give me some description on your main character. What is the deal? Obviously the soul, but in exchange for what? Okay, what the devil looks like, because as you've noticed, it changes in every single description. And some people say the devil changes to match what the person who's making the deal desires most. So you make up your devil, you make up your deal, your main character. Does your character choose to take the deal? If so, what are the consequences? If they don't take it, what are the consequences of not taking it? Page and a half, not due till next week, end of quarter. Bye guys, love you.